The American Society of Magical Negroes. Oh boy. Suffice to say, the movie isn't good. And no, I'm not saying that because I'm trying to appeal to anybody. It's legitimately not good. And even worse, a couple of months ago, I saw American Fiction, which is easily 10 times the movie The American Society of Magical Negroes is. No way in hell I'm saying that the whole video. But let's talk about the marketing, because there's a lot there, and when you look closely, you can see how this was always going to be a problem from the start. Now, if you don't know, the aspect of a magical Negro was a trope characterized by the portrayal of a black character possessing magical abilities or wisdom whose primary purpose is to aid the development of a white protagonist, and it has long been a subject of scrutiny and criticism within media and literary circles. In fact, the amount of movies that contain this trope is actually kind of staggering. So when Magical Negroes was announced, I should probably say that a little differently. You can see where there was a chance to satirize and critique the trope through humor and social commentary, the same way American Fiction and Get Out did. However, despite its intentions, the societies, that's a lot better. We're gonna go with that. Marketing efforts fell short in quick order, but it's not exactly hard to see why. Firstly, the very nature of the subject matter, racial stereotypes and caricatures, presents a significant challenge in terms of marketing to begin with. Addressing sensitive topics such as racism and racial representation, while also looking at the ridiculousness of it all, requires a nuanced approach that balances humor with sensitivity and awareness. The risk of alienating or offending potential audiences looms quite large, making it essential for marketing and promotion to tread carefully and communicate that satire and critique effectively. So when a movie like American Fiction does this,
they're offering $4 million for movie rights.
Yes! The dumber I behave, the richer I get.
You understand where that comes from immediately, because it hits on tropes that have been parroted throughout society for a while now, and everyone, except for probably the people who tend to engage in it, can understand the foolishness of it. Stupidity being celebrated and treasured not just by white people, but people in general, no matter your skin color, is ridiculous, and yet that's what gets the most engagement and the most awareness. We see it every day, and while it's not just a black thing, it's prevalent with how sometimes black culture is looked at from the outside looking in a lot, and that scene calls it out in a subtle but also effective way. So when you reach that part of the trailer, there's this almost ain't that the truth kind of feeling that you get, which in turn creates consensus. Now compare that to the scene that the society wants to hook you with.
That's why we fight white discomfort every day, because the happier they are, the safer we are.
Right off the bat, it points to something that seems foolish, because it is foolish, and you wonder how it's supposed to hook anyone. It doesn't call out anything, there's nothing overtly evident about it throughout today's society. In fact, if anything, it kind of diminishes black people's experiences in unsafe situations that have nothing to do with white people, while at the same time groups all white people together, something that all groups of people hate. But that hurts not just the promotion of the film, but the title itself. You see, the American Society of Magical Negroes, had to say it in full in order to make this point, is provocative, but it's also potentially polarizing. It's obvious that it's intended to be satirical, considering the use of the term Negroes perceived as outdated and in a lot of ways inappropriate by general society, particularly given its historical connotations of racial oppression and segregation. So if you're going to use a title like that, you kind of have to come out swinging and really up the ante. Instead, the trailer, and subsequently the movie, plays it safe by trying to appeal to everyone with things like the romantic subplot and Twitter buzzwords. This further shows in the fact that the promotion essentially becomes limited after the first trailer. Thus, it ended up affecting the society's marketing efforts in a negative way, making it hard to gain traction due to a lack of visibility and promotion. We gotta remember, satirical concepts such as the American Society of Magical Negroes relies heavily on word of mouth, social media buzz, and media coverage to generate enough interest and engagement. But there was nothing viral about it. It certainly didn't become a meme of any kind, and the word of mouth was absolutely terrible. Furthermore, the timing of the society's emergence may have played a role in its poor marketing to begin with. Satire and social commentary are usually the most effective when they are both timely and relevant to current events and cultural conversations. A couple of years ago, this movie may have gotten more traction, again, even the specific scene I showed would have made more sense, considering all the things we were seeing all over social media at the time. But now, the easy marketing opportunity has passed, so it was only going to be that much harder to connect with audiences and drive engagement. Thus, while the American Society of Magical Negroes aimed to use humor and satire to critique racial stereotypes in media, its marketing efforts and timing ended up hindering the film, which means one of the only ways you can get people into the theaters to watch it is by having a good film that others are willing to recommend, and this, judging by what we got, was never going to happen. If you want a legit film, one that won an Oscar by the way, and you haven't seen American Fiction, go watch that. It's worth the time and it's relatable while still showcasing the ridiculousness of certain narratives. And for the love of God, black people are not a monolith. No group of people are. And to me, that's probably the worst thing about the society, because it actively tries to treat us as if we are one.